Hey there, Jeff Manchester, Manchester Music, welcome. This video exists because I did another video on Mix with the Masters, and people were writing in the comments, you have strong feelings about Mix with the Masters, Jeff, have you checked out Puremix? Or you like this, you didn't like this about Mix with the Masters, have you checked out Puremix? And the truth is, I have been a Puremix subscriber for about 4 years. I'm very, very familiar with the platform, and for those that are familiar with it or brand new to it, I want to talk about my honest feelings about this service, which is another subscription online video-focused educational platform that also has a number of things to differentiate itself in value from Mix with the Masters and other online video educational services. So that is what we're going to talk about today. All right, now you know I'm going to say it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell if you're not already subscribed, and if you haven't rung that bell, that notifies you when new videos go up. They go up, I think, every Monday I've hit for 2022 so far, which isn't bad, but reach out to me at Manchester Music on my YouTube channel. I should have a Instagram up too at this point. Vodkastpodcaster.com is my email for this channel, and always write a comment. I read them all, and videos get created after people leave comments. So that is a great way to get more content, is just to reach out to me. So let's jump into Puremix. This is what we see when we first sign into our account. Very easy, no clutter, no fuss. We have the latest thing that they've done here at the very top. And then in the rest of the order, you have a bunch of other things that they've done. Redeeming licenses if you don't already, have the plugins redeemed. There's this How to Listen series, which I do want to talk about more later. There's also start to finish stuff. There's Mix Fix, which is another thing that they do. Studio tours. So you get to see in a very quick and clean way all the content that is kind of at your home base here, which is pretty handy. There's other really quirky series that they do too. For example, let's see if I can find it, Between Two Shures, where they just talk in a very candid way between Andy Sheps here and there's Jakir King. And it's one thing I want to impart to you guys right off the bat is it's very laid back, Puremix. If Mix with the Masters was the Oscars, Puremix would be the Golden Globes. We're like, yeah, we're still talking about like audio and recording, producing, mixing, and mastering, but like the Puremix guys are doing it with a beer in their hand, whereas the Mix with the Masters guy, it's more like prestigious, like Mix with the Masters behind the curtain. These guys are a lot more laid back. The vibe is different, and frankly, I kind of like the vibe at Puremix a bit more, if I'm being honest with you. But just want to say that right off the bat. It is a fun place to kind of hang out in, and all the content is going to be very, very similar in the way that it's kind of laid out and structured, but there are some things that make it very different from Mix with the Masters, which is what I want to talk about. But that is home base. That is our kind of main page here. Now let's go through some of these different little tabs. I first want to start off though with what you get as a subscriber. So if we go to pricing right over here, they have a little video telling you, what Puremix is and all that stuff. You see that we have yearly and monthly plans. A 3-month plan, you pay, per month for 3 months or a year. Unlike Mix with the Masters, you can go month to month, which is pretty cool. Or you can do a prepaid plan where you just pay up front, $274 for 1 year, or 3 months is $104, and they have a money back guaranteed. So what do you get? This is what people want to know, right? Over 300 tutorials on mixing and audio production. You can download full stems just like with Mix with the Masters, but I would argue that there's more downloadable content here on Puremix. You get feedbacks on your mix from mix coaches and other people on this Mixtank platform, which I'll talk more about. So again, this is where we start to differentiate, right? Unlimited tutorials, yeah, everyone has that. Download full stems, we're still getting there, but most people have that. But this is where things change, the community aspect. You also get some process audio plugins and guest plugins. So Sugar, Decibel, and Spice Rack. Spice Rack isn't out yet. Sugar and Decibel and Spice Rack, I think these are kind of Fab DuPont plugins. He's, I think, kind of the brains behind Puremix, I think. And also Melodyne is here with Melodyne Essential. Celemony, I should say, is here with Melodyne Essential 5. This mix-up audio thing is kind of cool. This is a little bit like Frame.io, but for your mixes. Folks who know what Frame is, it's like a video feedback platform where you upload a video and then people can leave comments and be like, oh, change this, or there's an error here, or whatever. And they're all time-stamped. And you can kind of review mix video versions back at to version 1 and version 2 and switch back between them really quickly. I haven't used Mix-Up Audio that much, but that's what it seems to be here, is a place for people to leave comments on mixes that are ongoing in Pro Tools or sessions that you have, and you can see kind of the feedback stamped across the mix and, you know, communicate with the client remotely in that very easy way. It facilitates that, as far as I understand. There's also a little bit of ear training and just things to kind of, you know, help you in your career, grow. The community's there as well. The video player is very, very easy to use. There's a ton of subtitles for folks in different, you know, nationalities and stuff like that, and a bit more information about the mentors. Which I think share a bit of a connection with Mix with the Masters. These guys are in bed with different companies. You'll see the same familiar faces, but there are some people that I see here on Puremix that I never see on Mix with the Masters, and we'll talk more about those guys soon. So that is kind of what you get as a member. Now let's dive into the tutorial content. If I click on tutorials, we see this page, which is very, I would say, well organized, easy to navigate. There is a really robust topics bar here where I can search between most popular videos, suggestions for you, what's the activity, mixing, production, recording, mastering. Do we want to just learn about compression? Do we want to just learn about EQ? Do we want to just learn about drums? Do we want to be taken to sessions that have a Pro Tools kind of focus, or that have downloadable templates for Logic or Cubase? Do we also want cooking? They have a cooking series where Fab will talk about like quiche and chocolate mousse, which is very French, but like cool, I'm here for it. Again, this is the Golden Globes of video education platforms for mixing, mastering, recording, and producing. It's laid back, which I love. No problem with that at all. Also, there is, you know, an easy search system. So if I want to see all the stuff on like bass guitar, type in bass guitar. And thank goodness, more than, you know, one little video pops up like on Mix with the Masters. The tagging system is very good here, so I can go down. A couple of false positives, background, you know, vocals, not really interested in that. This is bass guitar, but we have, you know, guitar and bass setup, bass and guitar, bass and guitar. You know, let's see if I can find more here. I think guitar might have tricked things a little bit. So what if I just type in bass? See what else shows up. Pretty quick. Dialing in the band, maybe there's a bass section here, bass guitar. Let's see if there's more. Recording bass, tracking bass. So there's, you know, there's some good stuff over here that gets you right where you need to go pretty quickly. There's some good filters as well that I mentioned. Subtitles, English all the way to Russian. We have video types free, pay-per-view, pro members only software. And you can see the mentors as well. If you just want to see all the stuff by like CLA or Jakir King or, you know, Schmidt or Joe Hamilton, you can do that really quickly in this all courses page. And you can see very quickly at a glance here, all the stuff that you've watched. I've watched these two down here, and the new stuff. Now, I will call out one kind of problem that I have, and that's that it's not always clear which sessions have downloadable content at a glance, at least not that I've noticed. So I know that this Jimmy Douglas one, The Way I Feel by Mr. Emotional, if I click on it, it has exercise files, and I can see them right here. And if I click, there's a legal notice to be like, hey, don't try to make money with these, it's just for practice. But if we zoom out to the, you know, tutorial section here, there's no real way to know which have downloadable content and which don't. And also, if I go to the topics, I don't think there's any way to filter it by stuff with downloadable stems. I'm not sure why that is. That feels like the main kind of feature of some of these platforms is like you get to play with stems and exercise and all that stuff. And so I'm surprised it's not here. Maybe it is and I just don't see it, but the user interface doesn't have an easy way to just get like, just show me the downloadable stuff. Anyway, but that is, you know, an overview of the all courses page. And as you can see, as I scroll down, there's a lot of content. So let's go back up. Let's go to series. Now, if I click on series, nothing is going to happen. Everything happens from this subfolder menu here. And you can see this very cool series called Start to Finish. If I click on one of them, let's find out what it's all about. Bryce Drew's music, 12 episodes, songwriting. We start with songwriting. We go all the way to mastering. This is like a soup to nuts, you know, the life cycle of an idea. Bring it from, you know, we're hanging out on the piano to now we're mastering it and putting it on Spotify. This is a huge differentiator for me from Mix with the Masters, where you can see something really, take shape and take form, and Greg and the artist come in and everything, and it goes all the way to mastering. And I think that, instead of a video just someone showing like, oh, here's something I mixed, and I 10 years ago, and they kind of fumble through and figure out what plugins they use. This is like, this is heavy premium content, I think, and this is what I am here for. I love the start to finish stuff. They've done a couple. I imagine they are very difficult to produce, so there's not too many of them, but hopefully they'll do more. Oak and Ash, this one by Jakir King, was actually a part of a mix competition that I entered as part of Puremix, and we'll talk more about that too. So it was really cool to see how all the song came together, and the song that you're mixing, you kind of felt like you were there because you were part of the tracking sessions and setting up the room. And Jakir is just so like normal and chill and just human, and it's really nice to have just a kind of fun, like pilot, if you will, kind of piloting the whole thing, and just really laid back and easy to follow, easy to understand, adding samples, tuning vocals with Melodyne, the one that you get as part of the subscription. Maybe it's a more advanced version, but hey, there's an example right away of someone using a plugin that's actually a part of the offering here. So that is wonderful. So if we go back to series, there's a couple more. There's a Lifeboats one, which is really cool because what they've done is they've given this Lifeboats track to a bunch of different mentors. I guess they can't call them masters here. And the masters will, the mentors will each mix their own version of the track. And this gives you a bit of insight into how they approach the mix, So, CLA might mix the kick different than Mick Gazowski, or Jakir might do something different with the guitars than Andrew Sheps would. So you get to really see, like, the way that people, the way that their brains work and the way that they tick. Like, episode 8, Tony Maserati, I'll click through here and you can see, we've got chapters and everything. You can see the plugins that were used to see if they match your own. No surprise, it's mostly like a lot of waves in UAD, Fab Filter. So I just think, it's a really cool series where you can see how different people interpret and think about mixing the same session, the same files. I would have to say, though, my favorite of the series is this How to Listen series, and it sounds boring, but it's not, to me anyway. What this series is all about is understanding audio concepts from the perspective of a real professional, which is Fab, and he's, I think, kind of the brain behind this whole Puremix thing. So, you might think you understand the difference between convolution reverb and algorithmic reverb, but here you're really walked through what those sound like on a technical level and how to identify which one is which, and then which one might be best to use on a sound source, on a vocal versus drums. You might get your Pultec EQ or your SSL bus compressor, and maybe you want it because you see it everywhere, but you have it and you're like, I don't know how to use this. I just know that I want it because a lot of people tell me it's important. This series will show you why it's important, and it'll explain the quirks and the heritage and the foundation of the components and everything, so that you can, when you get it, be like, I know what it does because I was taught on why it's important and how it's quirky and why it's so beloved after watching this series. And then you can go forward and use it with a bit more knowledge and confidence. And I found that as someone who loves education, this has been eye-opening for me. The LA2A, an optical compressor for vocals, I thought I knew how to get the most out of it, but when Fab showed, the step-by-step, here's this, here's that, here's why this works this way, here's, I felt like I was 10 times more productive with the tool, having watched this How to Listen series. So anyway, big fan of it. So we've already covered the pricing, okay? We have mentors next. And again, you'll see some familiar faces. There's CLA, there's Jakir King, there's Greg Wells, Mick Gazowski. These guys are all kind of hanging out on Mix with the Masters, but there's some new people that I haven't seen before that I've really fallen in love with. And Puremix, if you're watching, Daryl Thorpe. I mean, I didn't know this guy. I always think of Nigel Godrich as the Radiohead guy, but he's mixed. Daryl's mixed a lot of Radiohead stuff, a lot of Beck stuff. I had no idea. There's only 2 videos here from Daryl. So Puremix, if you're listening, give Daryl more work. He's so good. There's a lot of mix engineers that will kind of overcook it with examples and compare everything they're doing to like a food metaphor or a life metaphor or whatever. Daryl is just like, here's what I did, here's why I did it, and here's how I did it. Just simple, honest, here's the information, which I love. And anyway, so just some faces and characters that I'm meeting on Puremix that I wouldn't meet otherwise, that I'm, really, really enjoying. And I might be wrong. Daryl might be on Mix with the Masters, but I don't think he has been. So anyway, love that. Let's go to what might be, I think, my favorite aspect of Puremix, which is the notion of community. I really think they nail it. What's Mixtank? I'll click on it. Mixtank is a place where you can upload your mix, and I think it stays active for like 2 weeks, and people can comment on your mix and give you real feedback. Why is this important? Well, most people don't have, most mix engineers don't have a ton of other mix engineer friends. They're kind of like solo on their own in a project or boutique studio, just hoping they're doing the right thing, going in the right direction. This gives you access to a community of people who are all mixing, all trying to get great results with their tracks, and they can leave feedback, and you can see, what level of coach they are and all that stuff, and just get open and honest feedback in a safe space where you can kind of feel vulnerable and be like, hey, I'm just working on this. I don't know if I'm going the right direction. People can leave comments and feedback. I think this is wonderful, and something that's very, very unique in the industry and in the educational space, at least that I'm aware of. The other thing that Puremix will do is bring in like a Daryl Thorpe or a CLA, and they'll do like a live Mixtank where, you can upload your mix and you can see Daryl or someone listening to it and giving feedback to it in real time, which is unreal because A, it's feedback from a pro, and B, a pro is listening to your track. How cool is that to have access to someone like that? So I think it's wonderful. This is, to me, a huge competitive advantage for Puremix in the online kind of mixing educational space. If we click back, we go over here to the final stop on this kind of tour, which is the features. There's a blog. Cool. It's a blog, whatever. There's mixing contests, which I love and have entered personally. And this goes back again to the community thing. So Mixtank is a place where you get your mix reviewed and all that stuff, or feedback on your mix. You can submit your mix here in the hopes of winning something. I don't know, a plugin. Doesn't really matter. To me, getting the session files to play with and then just hearing what other people have done, that's the thing, is you can upload your own. You can upload as many times as you want if you want to kind of do a revised mix. And then you can see who won, and you can maybe see, well, maybe I should change, my mix to kind of fit the winner's mix, or you can see how you stack up, next to other people. It's kind of I don't know. To me, it was like thrilling to check every day all the new mixes come in, and it's all the same song, right? So Oak and Ash, this one I participated in, Keep the Light On, and you can see like all the other people that have mixed it, and you can, download them all, not download them all here, but just listen back. You can leave comments. Here's my mix. So I just think this is really cool, and this is kind of what I'm here for. The community aspect of Puremix, they do a great job with. So that's really cool. If we keep going to features here, they have live events, mix analysis. It's like articles based on famous mixes and famous tracks and how they were mixed and what makes them interesting. Ear training, this is a little lackluster, but at least it's here. It's basically a little tool to kind of go, and it's like Wordle. Like you'll do it and then you'll see what your score was compared to other people, and you can kind of talk and things like that. So this could be built out a bit more. It's no sound gym, but it's cool that it's here. If we go back to features here, there's an online LUFS analyzer if you want to upload and I guess get a readout of your your target, your track based on targets. And there's also at the very end here, a swag store, masterclass. I actually don't know what this is. 2-day masterclass. I can't tell if these are like online only or in person. I think what I'm getting at here is like, there's a lot of stuff on this Puremix subscription that you get. And there's even stuff that I'm just discovering now that I didn't know about, but it's just a testament to, I think, the depth of content that is available here, and also the variety of content that you don't get on other, platforms and things like that. So now I know that there is a masterclass, and of course there's a swag store where they sell stuff. Cool. They do ship to Canada. That's wonderful. And the shirts don't look half bad. They look kind of cool. Anyway, so let's go back to the main page here. How do I get home? How do I go home? Let's talk about, strengths and weaknesses. Like I said, I've been a subscriber for a while. I've, checked out most of the content. I'm always still learning about new stuff though. I guess the first weakness is I'm really not able to see at a glance where the downloadable content is. I have to kind of leaf through everything to get like, the session files. So I know, again, Jimmy Douglas, there's exercise files here. But if I go to another one, let's see here. Let's see another one. Rival Sons, Do Your Worst. If I click on this, there's no exercise files. I don't know why they don't tell you that up front. It'd just be nice to know where the files are and you can download them all and get moving. But that's one thing that I think would improve this a lot. The other kind of, not negative, but I don't think there isn't that like cutting edge top song right now track that you get on Mix with the Masters. Like, I don't love Justin Bieber, but there's some Bieber stuff on Mix with the There's some kind of Ariana Grande stuff on Mix with the Masters. Like, they're kind of, Kendrick stuff. It's there. I feel like Puremix is kind of a little less like the song of the moment and more like, like rock, Nashville blues, that kind of thing. There is some hip hop. There is some electronic music and stuff like that. There is some rap, but a lot of top 40 stuff isn't super represented on Puremix. And that's a very small kind of nagging thing. But it's just something I noticed. It's very focused on kind of rock and roll and guitars and drums and stuff like that. And I think it's just kind of worth calling out. Another weakness that I've found, and this is all very subjective, right, is that they tend to do this thing, Puremix, where I'm not going to name names, but they will invite mix engineers to go back and revisit mixes that they've done. And to me, watching someone fumble through a Pro Tools session and click on plugins and be like, I don't know why I use that. I don't know why I use that. I'm not sure why that's there. I don't do that anymore. Like, to me, that's not very entertaining. Just personally, as a subscriber, I don't want to watch someone kind of sit and wonder and pick over the bones of an old mix and wonder why they used that compressor, because they don't use that compressor anymore. Like, who cares? Let's watch someone actually mix something start to finish, which they have, but it's just this thing that I've noticed. It could be that it's hard to get new sessions, so they go back to ones that they've definitely cleared, and then they'll do a bit of a deconstruction on them. But to me, it's just like, it's not very exciting or engaging content. So those are a couple of very small weaknesses here in the overall grand offering that I think is still wonderful. I want to talk about one big pro that I don't see anywhere else, and that is people mixing live. And by live, I just mean they don't open the session being like, today we're going to talk about how I mixed this song. It's like, we're going to mix a song. We're going to, like, I mixed it, but I forgot everything I knew about it, and let's go back. So for example, if I go to the mentors here, if I go to, where's my guy? Let's see here. Daryl. So Daryl mixed a track from a band called Future Elevators, and he mixed the whole thing from scratch, and you can download the exercise files, which is wonderful. But he did it, from scratch. He started with like, it's blank, let's add this, let's add that, or whatever. I love it when people feel like kind of vulnerable enough to do that, and they just kind of try things, and they might make a mistake, they might go back, it might not sound anything like the final product, because the final product is really one that is a collaboration between the mixer and the artist will be like, oh, bring my vocals up, bring this down, bring this, whatever. But to see someone approach a mix in real time with some, with a bit of editing here and there, I think is so invaluable, and I love it. And it's something I don't ever see on Mix with the Masters, just being honest. Maybe it's there, but I've never seen it. I love that here. There's another one by Rich, another live session. Where's Rich? Rich Keller, there he is. Go down to Rich, and you'll see that he has this tidal wave track, downloadable session as well, and he mixes it from start to finish live, So I just love that, and I don't know if if Puremix knows that people kind of appreciate that, and I want to make sure that they do, because it's just to me that's what premium content is all about. It's standing over the shoulder of someone, being like, oh, that's cool, or whatever, seeing them do it in real time, like you're in the studio with them there as an apprentice. I think that's invaluable. So hopefully this review has given you a sense of how I feel about Puremix. I would say, if I had to put Puremix and Mix with Masters neck and neck, Puremix is coming out a little bit on top because of the community factor, because of the availability and depth of downloadable content. And also because of that live mixing aspect, which I really love. I will say that Mix with the Masters does a pretty good job of diversifying the content a little bit with, like, we're going to talk about a songwriter. We're going to talk about, like, the time I got this hit. But to be honest, if you go to Puremix here, you'll see on this main page here, like they diversify the content too. There's like the how to listen series, the Between Two Shures, studio tours. So they're able to diversify things up too a little bit. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Puremix. Do I think it's worth it? I think it's totally worth it. I think Mix with the Masters is totally worth it too. And I think it's a little easier to get in with the pricing on the monthly basis with Puremix as opposed to Mix with the Masters. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for sticking around and being here. If you have any comments or feedback, or you disagree or agree with me, leave some comments. I read them all, and have a wonderful life. Just have a great life, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.